Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Dave Stone is new to Keith and the Girl, and he's here. Hello, Dave.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? It's going fucking great. I literally just had intercourse. You ever try this?
Not yet. Not yet.
It feels so good to me.
I hope to one day. I hear it's nice.
It is so. There's like dessert, but this is better.
Okay. Well, I love dessert, so can only go up.
Now you're
there.
getting it. Now you're getting it. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, so I'm
goodness.
out of breath. You guys go.
I did see that Dave Stone was on, and I had a feeling it would bring out extra testosterone in Keith because I feel like although you didn't have the same upbringing, there's a lot of similarity in tone.
Okay.
So, yeah. So welcome to the show, Keith. You're going to be you. Let's go.
Big news. This is a true story. On July 1st, Netflix will be showing the classic movie Titanic.
Okay.
People are demanding it. I told you that Celine Dion got 7.8 million views the last couple of days because people need to be reminded. And Netflix says, okay, well, we have the whole thing.
Start to finish, the submarine thing has been for some, crazy shit has happened. We just came out of a pandemic. I have had open heart surgery, and yet this submarine thing has been on my mind. I keep picturing them sitting cross-legged like we did in kindergarten, trying to tell each other stories that they know they don't believe in, and then it just explodes. Hello in the background, picking up your shoes and leaving Keith's place. That was perfectly sneaky.
Yeah, remember on the sub there was a 19-year-old, one of the billionaires brought their son on. What he wanted to do apparently was do a Rubik's Cube 12,000 feet deep so that he would break some kind of record that never really existed.
Ooh.
Okay, honestly, that makes me feel so much better about
it. Bothers me that we would have just had to believe him. Now I go, fuck it. I say he did it. Yay, he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Fastest ever. Yay.
No. But it does make me feel better to hear that, because I always in my head picture the 19-year-old going like, do we have to do this?
Right.
All I wanted to do is go to Six Flags, like on a jet, not this, I just picture the 19-year-old going like, another stupid thing I have to do with my billionaire dad so that I can keep getting allowance,
Yeah.
So now I'm glad that he had a goal and he had a wanting for this. Maybe.
The world's largest cruise ship also is almost ready to set sail. Royal Caribbean International just said in 2024, they got a brand new ship, the biggest yet, 40 ways to 40 ways to dine, drink, and be entertained. Do you take a break from cruises for now, or, hey, it's not the same thing, so who cares?
Yeah, I guess it's two different things. So
right.
Going back to the submarine thing, I was surprised that it was so the accommodations were so minimal for that price tag. Was it $250,000 a person?
Yeah, but and on top of it, one way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's too bad.
But don't they have like actual submarines, like military grade or whatever, where it would be a little more, consumer friendly, maybe better windows?
You know what's not fun? It's not fun when people die tragically and we're like, does it feel weird that I feel like I know information about this and this is so dumb?
We studied it all week. If I can't pass a nautical test by now, I don't know what the news is telling me.
Here's another shitty thing to connect to with the social stuff that we're talking about. We've been talking about Jews running the media, right? Like Chappelle said it, now Roseanne said it, and it's like this whole thing, right? Now Titanic is coming back to streaming because of deaths on a submarine to look at the Titanic. If I were a conspiracy theorist who thinks that Jews run the media and are destroying everybody in their path, look how much money they just made on this death. The Titanic song, now the Titanic movie, Jews are raking it this week. If that's your belief system, then they did this. That's the foul play. Let's bring Titanic back up again, make another few million.
It's funny you brought up Roseanne. Craig, who you said is in the chat, which is weird because I did invite him to be on the show today. He said he was busy, but he is legitimately angry with me, saying that I played that Roseanne clip with Theo out of context to deliberately lie to the audience. and he wouldn't let it go to the point where it honestly got frustrating.
Now, I got nervous because I saw someone wrote that on the forums too. Was that Craig?
Craig wrote on the forums and read it, but with no information, just goes, Keith, you lied to them. You deliberately misled, playing a clip out of context. Like he just met me.
Now that made me nervous because, I am getting fed information just like the audience is. I hadn't heard the clip except for the one played on the show. So you sent me the longer clip and I listened to it. Man, she confirmed exactly what we heard.
That's what I think.
Clip.
I think it's even worse. I played like 1:20. I'll play for you again just so Dave's caught up for sure. A total of 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Theo Von added a couple minutes before the clip that went viral to say, hey, look, we were being sarcastic and having fun.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Keith is wrong, said Craig, regarding his implication of what Roseanne was saying. The clip was also taken out of context entirely.
Wait, I just want to know, Dave, do you know anything about this clip?
Yeah, I saw the clip yesterday, just the out of context clip. I haven't seen the full clip. So I'm wondering what the proper context was.
Oh, it's going to be totally opposite.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what could it fucking be? But
yeah.
Well, for those who didn't listen to yesterday's show and somehow knew it, and we're going to play it again, but Roseanne is basically saying the Holocaust didn't exist. That's right. The main message we got yesterday. Yeah.
Say the context. I said, I dare you. I dare you. Don't tell me to listen to more minutes before or after. Also, I have. Just tell us. I Am Crazy Joe is on Craig's side, and I Am Crazy Joe says, was literally talking about outlawing bullshit, then went on rant about Biden winning legitimately, something she obviously believes is false, right? She's a QAnon person, no exaggeration. She was being blatantly sarcastic. I guess that means about the Jew stuff, and led into other truths. Man, it's so obviously sarcasm. I expected better, meaning better from us. Oh, she was joking about the Holocaust. She was simply saying Trump should be president and the election was rigged. Oh, okay. My pronouns are what and the fuck? Here, I'll play this clip for you. This is Roseanne with Theo Von.
When I ran for president in 2012, one of my platform things was I will outlaw bullshit. Yeah. Because, and I know that horrified people because what will they do now? Right. They're addicted to it. They'd rather have that than food or a happy family. Already.
I'm so sorry.
So addicted to their fucking
We'd
bullshit.
rather have bullshit than food or a happy family.
Okay. So she said I love this. I said I would outlaw bullshit. Am I not the coolest person? Nobody promises to outlaw bullshit.
Right.
Everybody is promising to add more bullshit to your life. Here I am trying to save the world. And they thought that was so weird that I said it because they want bullshit. No, we thought it's weird that you said it because that's not a real statement. Exactly. To outlaw bullshit means vote for me and whatever you think is bullshit, I'll outlaw it. But I think not being able to have abortion is bullshit. Other people think abortion is bullshit. So you think you're such a genius and you're saying absolutely nothing. Thank you.
And I Am Crazy Joe says, yes, she's fucking crazy, but not a Holocaust denier. Well, apparently you know the content of her character. I know racist tweets that I can remind you about. It doesn't seem so complicated. Well, you're deep. Let's see if I can get it through my skull.
When I ran for president in 2012, one of my platform things was I will outlaw bullshit. Yeah. Because, and I know that horrified people because what will they do now? Right. They're addicted to it. They'd rather have that than food or a happy family.
Yeah, exactly.
They're so addicted to their fucking bullshit.
I count the times Theo says right, and nothing was really said.
But, comics, I think, we're the less free speech art form.
That bullshit. You had me listen to that? Theo? Craig? This is it. Do we agree this hasn't been sarcasm yet? Like, I'm going to stop bullshit if I'm president. Like, she means that. Mm-hmm. Comics are the last bastion of, we're the new philosophers. She means this.
I get it. I get it how the comments from comedians do shift. They shift our language and they shift the way that we relate to each other. They shift what we laugh about and what we're capable of laughing about. But you know who else does good in the world? Scientists.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a list, if I can get off my own ego, of talking shit and saying funnies, that there are more important people than me who change the fucking world and the way that we see it.
There's still actual philosophers too.
Right. They're good too.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I'm going to sit on the stool and talk about the woke mob, and I'm the new philosopher. So
Yeah.
Right.
Roseanne's the new brain surgeon. No, there's brain surgeons.
No, and I know that horrified people because what will they do now?
Right.
They're addicted to it. They'd rather have that than food or a happy family. They're so addicted to their fucking bullshit.
It's true, huh?
But, comics, I think we're the less free speech art form.
Ugh.
And as long as we're
It's just like-
performing, things ain't as bad as they could be. I think that's true.
As long as we're performing, things aren't as bad as they could be.
Yeah.
And that's always been the case throughout time, like with jesters.
That's what
or
you
with
repeat,
people that
Theo.
was trying to
Yeah.
Let me just clarify this. We're the most important, right? Yeah, of course we are. Okay, solid. Next point.
speak up and share. There's always been a ceiling on speech, hasn't there, in a way?
Of course, nobody wants to hear the real truth.
Mm.
They're
Nobody-
horrified. They'd
nobody
rather
but
go
you
with
two.
bullshit.
This is also
Fact.
vague, just vague generalities.
Yeah.
Fucking
What is
something.
it? Craig, say
Ugh.
something, Craig.
Can I ask you this real
Bullshit.
quick? In terms of
I don't because I met him early, like 2 decades ago. We got along and we seem to have the same things in common. That's why we're friends. But now you're right. I don't get it.
people who legitimately deny the Holocaust, based on what? Like what? How do you just?
That's how they justify it. Hey, I didn't see it either. How do I
Something-
know it
okay,
happened?
yeah,
Based
exactly.
on what? Right.
Uh-huh.
Well, we didn't
Well,
have cameras in our pockets either.
uh-huh.
Right.
So, I mean, they could
What
have
happened to
done
all
this.
those people? What happened to those millions of Jews? Where'd they go?
Did they
Who are
used
you
to be in your
talking about?
house? Who?
Well, I was saying yesterday that this is highly insulting to current day Nazis, because if I was a Nazi, I'd be like, what do you mean that didn't get done? Our leader moved us forward
Right.
by millions, literally. And now you're saying that he didn't do that? Like, I'd be so upset with Roseanne Barr and any conspiracy theorist that said that my giant of a person with the itty bitty mustache didn't take care of business.
And she's legit QAnon. Why wouldn't it be safe to assume she'd believe in Jewish space lasers causing forest fires? Why wouldn't you assume that? Anyway, here we go.
They're horrified. I'd rather go with bullshit. It's easier.
And
Like for the real truth that, and I'm glad that they did set up all these guidelines so that we only are allowed to speak the truth. And the truth is that Biden got 81 million votes by winning 36 counties. And that is just incredible. It really, really is. And
So here's where the clever stuff comes in, is what I think Craig and other idiots are thinking.
Okay.
She knows the election was stolen. She's batshit. We can all agree. She knows the election really was stolen. She's saying, no, the truth is it wasn't stolen, right? He somehow got 81 million votes from tiny little counties. And you could tell that Theo doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. But this is where supposedly people are thinking it's clever. And then she
I see.
doubles down to be sarcastic. That's what I think these morons are trying. But why? She's the best at what she does, supposedly. One of the greatest comics of all time. She can talk for herself.
What's your favorite Roseanne Barr bit?
My pronouns are kiss my ass is probably my favorite one because she turns it around.
It's original.
That's the thing. Yeah, this is not a poem. We don't have to sit there in class and go, what did he mean by this? And I do think that there is like a movement, at least for me in my brain, to stop doing that so much for people. What did you mean by that? Let's just go with this. And Craig Klein is saying not clever. She isn't clever, not the best. But she was the best, and she was hired to be the best, and she was hired to be a writer and a person who does a sitcom that speaks a lot to blue collar people in the middle of our country. That first episode of Roseanne, you would never know that she came into this place. Watch the first episode, and you know what? Don't. Life is already hard enough.
Why cry?
Really.
36 counties. And that is just incredible. It really, really is. And that of these 81 million supporters who gave him more votes than any president has ever gotten before, he came with a mandate from these 81 million voters. And, I'm just glad that they
Theo's like, what?
were very
So
careful.
don't act like, by the way, when you hear Theo's what? Because I played this part twice yesterday. When you hear it, does he get she's being sarcastic or not? Since this is the basis to all the cleverness.
Were very careful to make sure that nobody could detract from that proven truth. You know what I mean?
Like, what do you mean? Like that nobody...
That they mandated that was the truth and that nobody could say, well, what about no?
Oh, it was made a mandate.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right. No, what? Because you can't explain it back. What could it fucking mean?
Yeah.
So the government made it a mandate?
Yeah. Because, YouTube did, and so did all the
So
social.
you can't even speak on that in those platforms.
So again, we're
But
just
that's-
guessing.
Hold on, that's not the government.
Right.
She keeps
Right.
saying, she keeps acting like Twitter and YouTube is the government.
Mhm.
Who's mandating this?
Right. They're saying you can't do anti-vax shit like you're doing. That's what they're saying. That's it. It's their platform, not the government.
all the social.
So you can't even speak on that in those platforms.
No,
I like that he doesn't know. He's very successful. I like that Theo Vaughn doesn't know what YouTube allows and doesn't. So you can't say
Honestly,
flat out false things.
I'm not going to co-sign this part because I don't know what Theo Vaughn knows. It seems like near nothing. It's okay. He's on that platform. He'll admit that. That's his thing. I don't know shit. I don't want to
Right.
know shit. I'm an ignorant idiot. And so this way he can party his way through the world, which is usually his brand.
I get
So
that. I do enjoy it, to be clear.
Yeah. I mean, normally he says things that are more innocuous, are
Yes.
more like, hey, this is how I partied. And, I understand
Right.
that people are uncomfortable with it, but this is what I did to my body or my thing or whatever. I was a maniac. I lived poor. I blah, 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 party in the back and
Right.
that whole thing. I'm not saying give him a pass. I'm saying like,
Don't be Frost Nixon all of a sudden.
No, you can't say,
That it wasn't.
you can't say that like,
The
there was
election was
election.
rigged or-
yeah,
right.
that's all a lie. The election was not rigged. 36 counties can give you 81 million votes.
Right.
Okay, so this is the clever shit. He's saying right because he doesn't know she's being so fucking subtle and sarcastic.
okay,
Vote.
you know
Right.
what? I don't know
That's
that
a
I
fact.
heard that much sarcasm the first time, but I get it. Yes.
I
Okay.
certainly did not.
1 million votes.
Right.
That's a fact.
Also, for a while, I thought she
So it-
was saying 1 million votes,
It does
And I
sound
was
like
like-
that.
right?
Yeah.
I was like, what am I missing here? Like, what's the funny, like, do boats stand for something? Am I so ignorant, And once again, Chemda, this is not a poem. This is not philosophy class. This is what somebody is saying.
She's being sarcastic. She's saying boats, but she means votes. Get on board.
She's got layers.
Mhm.
So it wasn't rigged.
Of course not.
Yeah.
36 counties have 81 million people in them.
Yeah.
See? That's the truth. And
Yeah.
don't
Right
you
ones do.
dare.
I think he's just saying, yeah, like I'm going to pretend I understand what you're saying, but there's no way they're both in on this sarcasm.
I think so too. But I am hearing more of the sarcasm now. Craig Klein is writing very, very, very sarcastic. He also earlier
You know,
wrote
it's
when he wrote-
dripping. I can't believe I didn't get my fucking thick brain to figure it out. He knows.
Craig is saying not clever. She isn't clever, not the best. Hate Roseanne, love truth and honor.
So truth and honor. So that's what it's kind of weird. My best friend, Dave, going on social media. Sorry, I got to stick up for truth and honor. Fuck you, Keith. That's not weird. That's a little weird. Sorry, I don't care. I wouldn't want to be called on it if I tried to dupe my audience and lie to them. I'd like to be called on it. Oh, okay, Craig.
Say anything against it, or you'll be off YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other ones, because we have, there's such a thing as the truth and facts, and we have to stick to it. And,
It's scary.
and that is the truth. And nobody died in the Holocaust either.
No.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
It should happen. 6 million Jews should die right now because they cause all the problems in the world, but it never happened. But it never happened.
Yeah.
Mandated.
Well, because you're part Jewish, right? Part of your family's Jewish.
So that's where you're supposed to understand that she's obviously. I love the word obviously being sarcastic.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's not
outta here.
obvious.
I still believe she's racist. What do you think of that? I still believe it.
That's definitely not obvious sarcasm. And by the way,
Right.
she's supposed to be one of the greatest comics of all time. Like, sarcasm is one of the lowest forms of humor. I mean, a
Right.
child can be sarcastic. So
Right.
how about you bring a little more to the table? Also, guess what? There won't be any confusion
Right.
with stuff like this.
So unless you're a
Right.
troll and you like the confusion, then that's what you are, and fuck you.
That's funny because I was
And
going to
that's
say,
best case.
is it okay if I don't like this interview just because it's boring? You're both entertainers. Entertain me. And you're right. Oh, Dave, that's such a good point. Sarcasm?
Yeah.
Aren't the Jews owning everything?
I mean,
Okay, you didn't tell a joke. You just rolled your eyes.
that's what people who don't have any comedic talent, that's what they rely on. And that's fine in at the office, in the break room, with your boring, dry coworkers who aren't paid or have a reputation of being hilarious. But especially when you're talking about such a sensitive issue, maybe don't rely on sarcasm. Do you have a point other than that? Do you have any original thoughts other than sarcasm?
Yeah, I still don't think she's joking. I don't think she's necessarily being sarcastic the way people are adding to it. A. B, playing more of it doesn't give me another context.
Right.
C, fuck you, Craig.
I don't get
Never happened.
I don't get how that turns the story around, because I only saw the one clip and everybody, and then you read the Twitter comment, oh, it's taken out of context. Well, okay, so now we've heard the full context. I'm still completely lost on how that's supposed to be a joke.
But time out also. I mean, all those are really good points. But if that is the clip that the show put out, then they expected that to stand alone. So don't tell me I took it out of context. You took it out of context and gave that to me to promote. So
Great point.
You either took it out of context on purpose so that now we have 2 episodes of Keith and the Girl dedicated to your bullshit, which is, I think we're calling that brilliant nowadays. I don't know.
Right.
But Nadine is saying this is hard to hear and horrible to know that voice is amplified. And Craig Klein says, agreed it was lowbrow and stupid, and then in all caps, and taken out of context. Craig,
we just played the whole thing. That's the one that you said explains that wasn't taken out of context. You're not saying anything, Craig. You're Roseanning me.
Craig, I hear what you're saying, but the fact is you're saying it was a joke, right? Because when people say it was sarcasm and taken out of context, they're saying it was a joke. And the problem is when you have a professional joke writer and we have to do dozens of minutes on why that joke should be funny and won't be taken out of context, it doesn't qualify anymore as a joke. It's just something that you're saying. So you could either take it back like, oh, I didn't tell a good joke, or you can just say you're talking.
No. That's the truth.
Yeah.
It should happen. 6 million Jews should die right now because they cause all the problems in the world, but it never happened. But it never happened.
Yeah.
Mandated.
Well, because you're part Jewish, right? Part of your family's Jewish?
Why would he say that if he thought she was joking? Hey, let's get to Jewish stuff, actually. Did Jews run Hollywood? Like, we can admit that, right? Because he doesn't know that she's joking.
Your family's Jewish?
I'm all Jewish.
You're all Jewish.
100%.
And a lot of Hollywood is Jewish, yeah? It's like a lot of Hollywood is a Jewish business, really. Well, they started Hollywood.
What's the point?
Right.
I'm sorry, but what's the point of even asking that right there? What is the point? She just said 6 million Jews should die. You confirmed she was a Jew, and then you pivoted because you're not used to serious conversations. You just want to talk about drugs and partying, which that's what you should do.
Right.
Weird.
Just like rap. Black people started rap.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go over there and try to get in rap and go, all these black people, go on Saturday Night Live like Dave Chappelle. I'm just saying a lot of black people are in control of rap.
Right.
Hello? Well, you went there. You try to get in show business. Of course it's Jewish. But, and people should be glad that it's Jewish too, because if Jews were not controlling Hollywood, all you'd have was fucking fishing shows.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No. But Craig does, because it's so obvious. Maybe it's Jew telepathy. Were there words missing that I couldn't hear? I don't know, but no.
No, and also we shouldn't give this much credit to such nonsense. Like, she was trying to say this, and she what she couldn't articulate herself. She's older than us, right? She's at least in her 50s. And she's had an opportunity to speak on mic in written form in a lot of ways.
Anybody would do another interviewer with her today, any side you wanted, right or left, I mean.
She has a lot of practice saying exactly what she means and saying it correctly and saying it funny. I've heard her do it before. So if we have to interpret something for this length of time, then she didn't do her job. So stop supporting that and stop backing it with what she kind of also meant if you think about it and twist your ear that way. I don't want to do that much work for this stupid ass conversation.
My point is, says Beautiful and Doomed, when someone who consistently spews hateful nonsense, right? True. When they spew hateful nonsense, you have to, let's see. When someone who consistently spews hateful nonsense, you will have to forgive me for not going out of my way to find context. I don't think it's fair to attack people for taking them at their word. If you're going to clap back at people for spreading it, go to the source. Keith reporting this is totally reasonable and believable, and she was being earnest considering the context of that. She was being earnest saying the context of who was saying it.
And I
does
say
that make sense? Yeah, I agree.
That's such a good point, because what he's saying, what this person is saying, I don't know if what they're saying is, hey, Roseanne and Theo essentially clapped and we clapped back. So
right. I see. Yes.
Why are you allowed to say like 6 million Jews died? You should decode what I'm saying, because you should always think of me as a good person because I have thought out thoughts. And then I go, oh, your thought out thoughts didn't sit right with me. And you go, how come you're talking? I'm like, I don't know. How come you're talking?
And it's not like Mother Teresa made this statement. This is a person who has a proven history of dipshittery.
Yes.
So,
and she's putting in,
I'm the idiot. I'm the idiot because I believed what you said and didn't pick up the super nuanced sarcasm from a person who is also, there you go.
Just don't have a history of it. I know this picture was in a Jewish satirical magazine, but when she's dressed up in a swastika armband and a Hitler mustache and putting Jewish, they have Jew markings on them, gingerbread people in the oven, I guess I don't get it. And when you add it all up, I certainly don't get it. By the way, you have to buy this armband.
Oh my God. That's
As you're buying it, are you thinking maybe this joke isn't even worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
What is the joke?
Well, and just going back to the sarcasm, it's such a low, stupid form of humor. It's the same thing I was talking about this the other night, like what teenagers do, where they'll get aggressive and get mad, like in Goodfellas, the Pesci scene, funny how that whole concept, and then at the very end, oh, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you got me.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Unless you're gonna do it. Yeah.
Whoa, you're hilarious. What a great joke.
Ooh,
I thought you were going to stab me for 30 seconds, and turns out you're not. Ha ha.
You know what? Yeah. That's the same kind of joke that, I'll take my dick out, and you're like, what? And I'm like, oh God, my joke came off so bad. Let me put my dick away.
I mean, now that you really want me to see it. I mean, it's joking if it's a fit. No, I'm just joking.
But
oh.
Wait, we're hold on. We're workshopping this.
Right, you're working on a real high level there, iconic comedian.
Hey, Dave, is this something? And I just take out my penis.
Yeah. Right. Gotcha.
And then, unfortunately, as a woman, I've done this before. I nervous laughed, and it's like, I guess it is something. They laughed.
Yeah.
She said all that, and Craig's like, that's actually the least anti-Semitic person you'd ever meet. Oh, okay.
Don't say that.
He didn't say that per se, but he said, are you fucking kidding me that you even think she's anti-Semitic? He said that. So she rates all this shit on social media. And you remember how she lost her show? The final straw was she was talking about somebody that worked for Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett. And she tweeted out Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby. It's VJ, meaning Valerie Jarrett.
And what was her defense of that? Was that taken out of context
First, her defense was actually, it was to defend anti-Semitism. She doesn't explain how. It makes no fucking sense. Then she goes, she said this on TV. I heard at some interview. She goes, Valerie Jarrett, I thought that bitch was white. What? Okay. Then if you remember, she said she didn't mean to send it. It was on Ambien. Then I saw her on talking to Dr. Oz, and she came a one-on-one, no audience. She came off horribly racist. Mm-hmm. This is a pattern. She's one of those people. I'm not guessing. She's one of those people about Barack's birthplace and race and religion. But are you really holding on, Craig? Like, no way she's hating Jews. She's a racist piece of shit. She goes, yeah. So first of all, it was about anti-Semitism. Oh, it was Ambien. If you remember, the people that make Ambien put out a statement Sanofi. People of all races, religions, and nationalities work at Sanofi every day to improve the lives of people around the world. While all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect of any Sanofi medication.
Yeah. Well, that's right up there with the, I was drunk excuse.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
You didn't know that Jim Beam has an ingredient in it that makes you a sexual predator if you drink too much. Right. And I didn't know that going in. So that's not on me.
Well, yeah. Dave, you drink still?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's
you tweet still? What's your social media of choice?
I've been trying to cut back on the booze. But yeah, I'm off beer just because I love beer. I mean, I love it as a beverage, but it does nothing for me as far as getting a buzz. I mean, I got to drink 10 of them to get a buzz. But yeah, I'm a bourbon guy. A little bourbon, a little tequila. You know,
what kind of drunk are you?
I'm a happy drunk. I'm a goofy drunk. Yeah.
Like if you got sober, people would be more upset right now. Like I
don't know if I have that reputation of being like the party boy drunk guy. I don't think so. I'm definitely not, that's not part of my brand. I'm not Mr. Take my shirt off and, party.
Well, in fact, you're trying to eat more healthy. It sounds like. Is this true? You were on a juice diet for 3 months. Was that an exaggeration?
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I did a documentary that never saw the light of day. But just went on a raw vegan smoothie diet for 3 months. Lost 56 pounds in 3 months. And
was that produced by your girlfriend who pretended there was a documentary or something?
I lost the tapes.
No, it was produced by a company that still owes me a lot of money.
Damn.
And we apparently had a distribution deal with Netflix, and then it took them forever to finish in post-production. They ran out of money, but yeah, that's one of many disappointments in show business. But oh well.
Oh my God! And you were vegan for how long because of this?
For nothing.
Just 3 months. Yeah, just 3 months.
Just 3 months. That's a prison term.
Yeah, there was incentives. Obviously, I obviously I don't have the willpower to do that on my own, but yeah, they were like, all right, we'll pay you this much, for the thing, and then if you lose the weight, you get this. And
wow.
I did what they asked me to do, and then they ran out of money in post production. They still owe me $20,000, so fuck them.
Damn.
But oh well.
But
they kept putting it up on IMDb, by the way. This was in 2015. And then, like, every couple of years, it would pop up on IMDb, and people would ask me, "Hey, when's this documentary coming out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what their reasoning for continuing to post it on IMDb for. I don't know." But,
wow. Did they supply you with food, or did you have to really?
No, they supplied me. They give me like Whole Foods gift cards. Once a week, I just go buy a bunch of veggies.
But you have to figure it out, right? They're not sending you what you need to eat. You have to actually maintain the diet.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty simple in theory. It was just anything fruit, veggie in raw form. So, and the smoothie was just an easier delivery system than sitting around eating a giant salad 3 times a day.
How angry were you on your first week or two?
Oh, it was awful. Yeah, it was awful. I'm a big food guy, obviously. So, this isn't just, bad
for show.
It's a passion. It's a lifestyle. But, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing, oh yeah, you can't just eat like a fucking maniac.
Is that the worst? Because that's the worst. What do you mean I can't eat like a maniac?
Well,
what is the problem? No. I mean, I'm talking to my body. Pardon me, Dave. Excuse our private conversation. Excuse me. What do you mean I can't eat like a maniac? Like I have to actually consider. I'm about to sleep, so maybe I shouldn't eat because if I lay down now, it's gonna hurt. Or like, oh, I better pay attention when I eat because I gotta eat slow and chew a lot. And I know this is what we said like all this time, but remember eating like a fat fucking meal, getting so full.
I remember yesterday.
Then eating more, then going, of course I have room for dessert. That's a different compartment in my stomach.
Yeah.
And then falling asleep right after that and waking up and just being you again.
Oh yeah. Good times.
Well, you got to be careful. What changes it? He had a heat stroke during sex.
Yeah.
You got to start looking into a salad, right? That'll do it.
Well, no, in all seriousness, it just hit me not long ago. We're like, oh, there's no obese 70-year-olds. So, because, younger, it was like, well, I need to lose weight for aesthetic purposes. I'm 45 now. So it's like, oh, I'm not an idiot. You can't just keep this up, dumbass. You got to shed some pounds. So I'm working. It's It's a never-ending work in progress.
How bad? What does a heat stroke feel like? And do you try to hide it? Like I can, like a cramped leg, I try to hide, and that's tough.
Yeah, that particular incident, I think I had it worked because she's now my wife, but during the courting process, I fancy myself a pretty good amateur chef. So I think I made us a nice Southern meal. I'm a Georgia boy. She's a Southern California gal, so she didn't know anything about Southern food. So I made like some nice chicken fried steak, some collard greens, and ate it too. There wasn't a big enough gap between the finish of dinner and the starting of the adult activities, which also those two worlds don't need to combine. Like looking back, there's nothing
there's a
nothing
reason
sexy
why
about gravy, Still,
sometimes I'd sooner go swimming after you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
there's it almost feels like we were set up to like, okay, we ate dinner. Now we have to do the dishes, not to have our kitchen clean, to let ourselves digest.
Yeah, exactly. So
just mopping, honey.
Now, being older and being married, it's a little more scheduled, I'm like, well, I'm cooking a big meal on Tuesday night, so maybe we'll wait till Wednesday or Thursday before we get into anything silly like that.
And now that you're married, you're no longer living in that van.
Yeah, no longer in a van. I'm indoors. I got a toilet. I got running water. Things are looking up. So
what was van life like?
Yeah. 2 years 2 years living in a van.
4 years total. Yeah.
4 years total.
Holy shit. 3 different stints. The first was a 2.5 year stint. Got an apartment, moved back into the van. But 3 different stints totaling 4 years, and they all sucked. It was this was pre the cool Instagram van life bullshit. This was just a means to an end. I needed to move to LA. I couldn't afford rent. At the time I was a full-time comic, just at the feature level, just making.
But if I'm watching your feed and there's no chicks, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that I used to get that a lot too. Is that van a rockin', Dave? No, I live in a fucking van. It's not rockin'.
Could you get mail?
I had P.O. box. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And where did you shower?
The gym. I had a gym membership at LA Fitness in Hollywood.
I figured, but did you also use the gym while you were there, or were you like?
Sometimes it was weird. Like, you go in, you check in, and like the bathrooms are this way and the gym's this way. A lot of times I just go check in, go to the bathroom, 10 minutes later, come out and leave, and they look at me funny. And I actually told a lady one time, it's like, I pay my dues. What do you care if I work out or not?
Right. I'm working out smart, not hard.
Yeah. But I don't miss that. Just a gauntlet of old Russian balls every day just to go take a shower. In LA, there's a lot of Russian people, which is, hey, I'm not going there. I'm just saying I do wish the Russian elderly gentleman would be a little more shameful in the locker room, but it was just insane. Like I can't wait to get in there and show off my balls. It's nice now to not have to deal with that.
Did you work on your diet to make sure you don't have to shit too much?
Oh yeah, no, seriously.
Right?
Yeah, that was, I kind of had my system. I had a nice routine because, when you don't have immediate access to it, you do take consideration as what you're doing there.
What is it? I lived in a hostel for a year. It didn't bother me. Right. Mm-hmm. But I was young. Is it just like we're not respecting ourselves? Like, why didn't we care?
Well, to me, it's not that I didn't care. It was just I was on the road so much, but I also wanted to be in LA, and I didn't want to, not that I was above it, but I didn't want to move to LA and flip hamburgers 40 hours a week. Right. So it was just knowing that I was on the road half the time anyway. It's like, let me try this van life. So I just bought an old crappy Ford Econoline van, watched a bunch of YouTube videos in terms of how to, customize it, and built it up myself, and away we went.
How great is that toilet company? What's it called? Gatorade.
Oh yeah. Gatorade. Yeah.
We're working on a theory where it's not really to sell juice of any kind. Mm-hmm. They just have to legally sell it.
Yeah.
But it's for it to fit our dicks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was the optimal, the wide mouth. Yeah. You want to just get up.
You can take credit for that whole theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you can have that theory.
It makes sense to me. It makes perfect sense to me.
Also, you want to make sure, if you have to go the milk jug route, you want to make sure it's a screw top, not the little flip off top. Because if that kind of capsizes,
has that happened?
Yeah. there's been a few incidents.
That
but,
sounds like 7 times is what it
yeah.
sounds like.
And then, you got the emergency shit kit. Sometimes I can't make it all the way to LA Fitness. And then I kind of had my emergency shit kit was like a milk crate, like the hard plastic square cube milk crate. You take
like in that movie.
Which movie's that?
The movie where
Nomadland?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where we had to actually watch her shit for 5 minutes for some reason. We couldn't put the rest together.
We could have connected those dots.
I think so. We suddenly had to have a conversation with her as she's sitting on that painter bucket or whatever. Okay, so you had one of those?
Yeah, there was, the occasional, 2 a.m., rumble in the old guts, and you're like, oh man. So you take the milk crate and you line it with a hefty duty trash bag.
Smart.
And then you go in an alleyway in the middle of the night, kind of off in a corner.
Craig says this isn't only smart, it's genius.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. For some reason, I'm picturing you do it in the van, and I understand, I guess that would.
Yeah. No,
but
I don't need.
I would be so nervous that people are in that alley and now they have phones in their pockets and I can't get up. I now have to shit in front of people.
Hey,
who's going to get close to him?
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. It's off in a dark alley. But so the way you would do it is you have the trash bag lined milk crate in this hand and you half a roll of toilet paper. Why a half? Because a whole one wouldn't fit in my pocket. So I would stick, because you don't want to just show your hand too much. But so you go in an alleyway, you do your thing.
If it shows that you're so premeditated, you might not look like a crazy person.
Exactly. Well, that's true too. But the problem afterwards is then you're walking back with a bag of shit and no dog, So it's just a crazy man walking around with a bag of shit, and then you go find a public trash can to dispose it into. Tie it off real good, be a good citizen. Be a good neighbor. I like when I'm shitting in public, I'm very discreet about it. So,
have you ever done it and then just broke down crying?
I mean, I don't know. Like, there was a lot of internal strife the whole 4 years, but yeah.
Would you recommend doing that because it did move your career forward in a big way? Because you would have had to spend 40 hours a week and also do comedy. Would you recommend?
If you don't have a lot of self-esteem,
Okay.
It definitely humbles you. It definitely grounds you. But yeah, there was definitely benefits to it. It was liberating knowing that I was mostly off the grid. I think my monthly nut at that time was $200 maybe. I had a gym membership, I had car insurance, I had a cell phone. Yeah. And then that was groceries and that was it. So the van was paid for. But so that was liberating. And I would get a lot of this like after shows and stuff on the road. And I used to do material about the van. And there'd be guys that come up to me and they're like, look, man, I make 6 figures. I got a beautiful wife and 3 kids. I'm so fucking jealous of you. I was like, well, lucky me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Right. Do you ask to see their wife and kids? And you're like, oh, I see. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing.
Not to be that person, but I am. And that's why we look for gratitude and not happiness. Because if you keep looking for happiness, you're going to fail. But if you look for gratitude, then you have your own version.
Absolutely. And the other thing about living in the van, like I said, I would tour a lot. So when I'd come home from tour, that just meant I'm in LA and I'm parking the van. So I didn't come home to a place or a person. So now speaking of gratitude, I just came home from a little run this weekend. Now, so nice to come home to an apartment and a wife and a little dog. And so, yeah, but it was always weird coming home from tour, because in reality, that's the best part of coming home from tour. You come through the door, you drop your suitcase on the floor, oh, home sweet home. But there was none of that. It was just like, oh, I'm back in LA, parked on the side of the street. So I guess I'm home from tour.
Do you have to play white noise like traffic and people fighting in the street, shit like that?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I got accustomed to that. 2 different times people tried to break into the van while I was in the van. Because it looked like the whole point was for it to be stealthy. It was a stealth van in that it wasn't like a nice Sprinter van or conversion van. It looked like a work van. So the whole point was to give the appearance that this is just an unoccupied work van. There's not a weirdo living inside. So twice, two different people tried to break in, assuming that it was just like a plumber's van. They think there's tools or something in there.
How were they trying? Were they trying the door? Were they trying to break the glass?
First guy was trying to jimmy the rear double doors with a screwdriver.
What do you do?
I hopped out just in my underwear. I was so worried about him breaking the lock.
Right.
So that I wasn't worried. That's the only thing I was thinking about, because I was so broke. I was like, I don't have $200 or $300 to fix that lock. So I just real quietly snuck out the driver's side in my underwear, and I had a machete. I used to keep a machete under the bed, and I just walk around the driver's side, and he's so focused on that back door, and I'm like right over here, coming down the driver's side, and I'm just about 5 feet away from him. He doesn't see me. So finally, just in my boxers and a machete, I just went, "Hey!" And I swear to God, this guy probably shit his pants. Like, he did that like quadruple take, and just ran off. His buddy was idling in a truck, a few yards down the street.
Buy yourself a bucket, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And then about a month later,
I want to call this episode the bucket list. Okay, keep going.
Both these incidents happened like within the first couple of months of being in LA. The second time, a guy's just trying to break in the driver's side door, and I'm in bed, and this time I didn't even get out. I was just so pissed. I waddled up inside to the cab, and I just did that thing where I like open and kick the door at the same time.
Right.
And it just hit him in the chest, and he panicked and ran off, and I just slammed the door. I didn't even get out that time. But,
wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what I would do, because that's a nightmare. And I don't look like you, so I can't get out of the van in my underwear and go oogly boogly. I think it'll be different results.
Yeah, I wasn't too concerned about it. It's not a macho thing. It was just like fucking whatever. Plus, I don't know how much of my backstory you know as well, but my previous job kind of groomed me to not give a fuck about that kind of shit. So
being a police officer.
Yeah, I was a cop for 4.5 years. That also
4.5 years. Is it uncool to say that you were now? Do you see how do crowds react? It's not George Floyd right now. How are people feel about cops?
Well, I was a cop for 4.5 years. I never even mentioned it. It was a secret in comedy until about a year ago. For that reason, just part of stand-up is winning over the crowd and hopefully being likable. Right. And I just thought, in this environment, not even before the whole George Floyd stuff, it was still, police corruption's not a new thing. So people have, they've had a bad image for a long time. So just from day one of comedy, I just thought I'm going to keep that little secret. I'm not going to break that out until eventually a buddy of mine who knew all these stories, he was like, "Dude, you're doing yourself a disservice by not talking about this stuff." So, and that last special is the first time I started talking about it. And
so why 4.5 years? I mean, that's a fourth of getting to pension, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, we had a system called Rule of 80. It had to do with your age plus years of service. If that equals 80, then you get a pension. I think I would have gotten my pension around 51, 52. So yeah, it would have probably taken me.
So why?
Almost 30 years.
Should you have joined at 79?
Yeah, that'd probably be a good one. Well, there's several reasons why. Mainly, I hated it. I just wasn't mentally cut out for it. It was just an awful job. Every day, you're seeing the worst parts of humanity. Every day, you're dealing with people who are lying to you, or people who are having the worst night of their lives. And just psychologically, I wasn't cut out for it. It just.
What were you hoping it would be? Because it's not like you have sort of like a tough-ish background, right? There are guns in your
yeah. I mean, I had a great childhood, normal childhood, but growing up in Georgia, it was I kind of came from like a redneck Southern background, so it wasn't that. It was just
like, it wasn't your first time holding a gun, right?
Oh no. I was a big gun guy prior to that, but it was just. I guess when I was going into it, I thought it would be all fun and excitement and catching bank robbers and car chases. And
yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
There is that element of it. I did a lot of quote unquote exciting stuff like that. But what you don't realize is just night after night after night of just seeing, like I said, some of the worst parts of humanity. Just the way, whether it be domestic abuse or child abuse or just general fuckery, just every night it was just. It was just so heavy. That
what's a near-death experience that you had as a cop?
Oh, I got in a fight with a guy who was trying to steal my gun, and I don't think he was going to pawn it. You know,
Right.
yeah, I had a couple of real shit kicking fights. I got stabbed twice.
Where?
Just both times in the vest, fortunately, like in the chest or the side there.
Who was this? How was like they had a knife and you had to? They just got to you?
Yeah. Just
how?
Start scrapping. Well, both times was my partner's fault in that if I know you're going to jail, if I know I run your license, you got a warrant, whatever, I don't just say, hey, you're under arrest, turn around, put your hands behind your back. Because if you, the criminal or the perpetrator, knows that, most of those people aren't just going to voluntarily give themselves up. So my point is, there was a technique involved where, like, if I know
called
this
lying, I've experienced this with you people. May I share, please? One moment. I hold on, sir.
Go ahead.
You motherfuckers. May I let this out on you, please?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take it back as soon as we're done. I know you're a nice guy. But anyway, you fucking asshole. So I went in with my ex who we were together at the time. I jumped
into a turnstile.
Yeah, I jumped a turnstile. Two cops came out of nowhere and they were like, hey, you jumped a turnstile. We're going to give you a ticket. Do you have any warrants? Do you have any whatever? And I'm like, do you have any outstanding tickets? And I go, I don't think so. I don't remember what it was. And they found something. And they're like, oh, we're just going to, just put your hands behind your back.
Absolutely.
We're just going to cuff you both. I'm like, why am I getting arrested? Like, you're not getting arrested.
Just being detained. For my safety, I'm going to cuff you and pat you down. Make sure you don't have any bombs or bazookas on you.
They didn't even say that. They're like, we're just doing a thing right now. And I'm like, okay. And then we're just going to walk you to our car. Right. I'm like, what is happening? We're going to take you down to the station, but I'm not getting arrested. No. But you might want to give your license to this person because we're going to take it if you take it with you.
Yeah.
So now I'm in the back of a car. 4 policemen drove me about 5 miles to the courthouse. And that's so annoying in New York because it's
for hopping a turnstile. You said they found a thing.
They found something. Yeah. Then I'm in a jail, like
they found what, by the way? Weed.
No, they didn't find weed. They found an old warrant or an old ticket. They didn't tell me. They just found something. So now I'm in a holding cell and they're like, okay, come on over here. We're going to take your mugshot. I'm like, but I'm not arrested. They're like, no, you're not arrested. We're just going to take your mugshot. I'm like, what kind of weird shit? And then, we're going to take fingerprints. I'm like, but I'm not arrested. They're like, yeah, we're just going to take
the secret? Why wouldn't they just admit, yeah, you're under arrest? Like,
I don't know.
What do they care?
I'm not making any trouble.
Yeah.
At most, I'm going to cry. And I'm going to do that anyway. Let's face it. And now, and all of a sudden I'm being arrested. Not only that, they're like, we're just taking you down here because that's where the judge is going to see you. In an hour, you'll see the judge. Then you'll get out of here. A
year later, you're in jail. No, you're still not technically arrested. Don't say that.
For real. They lied to me about a judge. I came in there sounding so stupid. I'm like, so am I going to see the judge? And they're like, what judge? Judges don't work at night. This isn't TV. I'm like, he lied about that too. I could have, you could have saved me some shit. They won't give me a phone call. It's not like the movies at all. It actually does smell like piss. I did have to pee in front of people, like all of this shit. And by the way, I don't know where jail cells find these bananas because I have never met a banana so fucked up. and yet, like by law, no, it's not rotted, but wow, I never saw that line of where a banana turns, but it's not fully turned, so it still qualifies. I was like, this is very interesting. Anyway, fuck you, please go on.
Yeah. No, but you're right. That's the technique because, if I know someone's going to jail, I'm so
sorry. I'm so sorry. You know what? What it was?
What?
At the time, I didn't have a car. And what it was is that I drove without insurance. When I got to court, they gave me some sort of, a representative. And that guy was like, so what'd you get arrested for? I'm like, I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me. It's days later and I still don't fucking know. And they're like, he looks at it and he's like, why are you driving without a license? I'm like, I'm not driving. I took a train here. I don't have a car. And so the judge went, okay, so do you have insurance now? And I'm like, no, I don't have a car.
Yeah. Why would I have insurance?
Yeah. So he goes, all right, then you can just go. And in my head, I'm like, no, I'm not going. this is injustice.
Yeah.
You have to tell me why I got arrested, why you wasted my time. I could have gotten fired if I had a normal person job. You know what I did instead? I was like, thank you, goodbye. And I ran out and breathed so heavily when I left the court. I was like, I don't think they can get me now. I'm done. They can't call me back in for some bullshit that they didn't know. There was
Thank God they got you off the street. Our children are safe now.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
very much.
another thing that I just despised was just cops are granted a fairly decent amount of discretion, meaning it's up to you whether you want to, now certain crimes, there's no discretion. You catch a bank robber, a rapist, there's no discretion. But on small bullshit crimes like that, the cop has discretion whether he does nothing, or maybe just write you a ticket, maybe arrest you. But shit like that used to just drive me nuts. I worked with so many guys that there was just no discretion. If legally I can arrest you, I'm going to do it. And I used to try to take a little bit more, human and common sense approach. You
can ruin someone's life. If I had a regular normal life, they would have ruined my life. I would have lost my job. I couldn't call anyone. I couldn't tell someone I was going to be late. I couldn't tell them I was missing work. Then when I got out of jail, I was miles from my house. I didn't have a car. I didn't have fare to call someone, and I didn't have fare to get on the train. So now I'm just out there. Either I walk home or I start begging for money, which I think is what I did. I asked someone for a phone or some kind of shit. Now I'm talking to strangers outside of a holding cell, and giving them a phone number that I know by heart, which means it's someone close to me. Now you have my information, all this shit. Come on, man.
Because all the other crimes have been solved that night. So
you know what I was wearing? I was wearing the most hippie fucking pants in the world. They had stars and it was practically like the fucking Buddha on there. Okay. It was weird. And yes, I had weed on me, but they didn't see it because I got rid of it before they arrested me.
Good for you. Good for you.
So what happened with your partner? Your partner says, hey, we're going to arrest you. And you're like, motherfucker, I'm right next to him.
Exactly. He spilled the beans before I could detain the guy. And then it's game on because this guy knows, oh, yeah, that's a serious warrant. I'm probably going to go to jail for 10 years. Oof. Why not try to kick these two guys' ass and run off? And both times the two worst fights I ever got into were because of that. Like my dickhead partner. One of these guys I'm talking about that it was all stat driven. I wrote this many tickets and I made this many bullshit arrests. Like, yeah, but did you do any good tonight?
Yeah, how do you
keep
really
a heart make
on?
A difference? Yeah. But yeah, just telling somebody, hey, you're under arrest before they're detained. Well, sometimes those people are down to fight. And
so what they do? They took out a knife right away?
Yeah, one guy had a knife on him. He already had a knife in his hand. And he poked me kind of right under the left pec. Right at the top of the rib cage. Fortunately, my bulletproof vest stopped most of it. It still broke the skin, but it wasn't a big deal. But just the principle of like, if I wasn't wearing a vest, it could have killed me.
Plus, that breaks my heart. Like, it doesn't break my skin, but it breaks my heart. Like, I'm being attacked, and it could have been avoided. And I think it's interesting to attack two police officers instead of just running.
Well, because that's a good point. But the thing is, when you have nothing to lose, there's nothing scarier than a person who has nothing to lose. Fuck do I care?
What are the chances? Partner? What are the chances of running away that they couldn't run away?
Oh, it happened all the time. Yeah, happened all the time.
Isn't that an easier thing to do? Like, I imagine if I was a pretty decent runner, and I imagine if I'm running for my life, I am one. So if I was a pretty decent runner, I imagine a couple of cops in full uniform are going to have a hard time. New York with all the alleys and, I know the city maybe too well.
Yeah, there were several times where the radio traffic went like this. And to give you some context, a foot chase is 1080. 1080 on foot is the code for foot chase. Yeah. And then a really common code, whenever you're done with a call, you have to close it out. And a lot of times, most time you have to write a report, no matter how minute the situation.
That's why I would quit.
You write a report. And I think that was 10-8 means I'm back in service. Code 15 means I wrote a report. Code 13 means no action taken. It was unfounded. I'm not even going to pull out a pen for this bullshit.
Aren't you upset you still know this?
Yeah, I'm 10-8. I'm back in service. Code 13, no action taken. A lot of times the radio traffic would be like this. You'd say 3113, what was it? Code 18 was a traffic stop. Code 18, red Volvo, New York tag, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, the radio's like 10-4, And then a few seconds later, 3113, 1080 on foot. You know, you can hear the cop's voice, the panic. then everybody shuts up on the radio, like, oh shit, Stone's in a foot chase. So 3113, 1080 on foot. And you give your location. And then about 10 seconds later, 3113, 10813. Back in service, no action taken, meaning that motherfucker's gone.
What is the code for they climbed the fence?
Yeah.
Same thing.
10813. Back in service. Yeah, no action taken.
If you're not arresting me or I'm just a civilian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I come up to you, your back or your side, and very quickly, I take the gun out of your holster, I put it down in front of you. Do you find it hilarious and nobody knows that you let me do that?
No, there's nothing funny about that. You're probably going to jail.
I gave it right back. Like if I take the gun and then I hand it to you.
Yeah, I don't think many cops have that good of a sense of humor.
Okay, I thought they'd be embarrassed.
Okay,
you'd be embarrassed, but yeah, it would definitely there would be repercussions.
Okay.
I have a follow-up question. Let's say I'm on the train and the button is undone on the gun. Do I go, hey, your button's undone, and give him the gun? No? Okay.
Yeah, just, in theory, those are funny scenarios, but I can't imagine a situation where that would end well.
I've seen it without the button closed more than once, and it really feels like entrapment.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay, how about this? I see the button undone on their gun. Do I go, hey, your button's undone?
Yeah, you can tell them that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's just a shitty cop right there. And another thing, you can also tell a shitty cop by how gross their boots are. That was one. It was just kind of a sense of pride. You make sure your boots are polished, make sure your uniform looks nice. But you see somebody with their holster undone and their boots are all scuffed up. That's probably a shitty cop. So
somebody told me, and I don't know if they just meant New York City. Tell me if this is true, that if I see a cop directing traffic and they don't have a gun, it means they're in trouble. Maybe they fell asleep in their cop car, this kind of thing. Is there any truth to that?
I wouldn't think there is. I couldn't imagine a scenario where you would send a cop out in uniform without a gun. So I think if they were in that much trouble, they just would be suspended. Wouldn't be at work. So yeah, most of the time those might be traffic cops. Or around in LA, whenever there's a thing, the street signals, traffic light. There we go, Dave. Whenever the power's out or whatever, a lot of times our dumb meter maids, the traffic enforcement idiot, will be out there. And I always just like,
grateful for your duty. Thank you.
Finally, you're doing something that matters. I can't imagine a worse job in the world than just being a ticket writer.
Anytime I see it, is disgusting. Like I know somebody has to have that job. Why you?
Yeah, why'd you pick that one? Oh,
I don't know that you pick. I don't know that you always pick.
Then you be a waiter. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck. You're not in the business. You laugh at these people, right? Like they're the football kicker. You fuck their wives, right? Yeah, I get it. I fucking get it. Big Hollywood news. Ryan Seacrest will be the new host of Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, thank God.
That makes so much sense. Aren't they the same person?
They have the same plastic surgeon.
Holy shit. If you told me that was his son, I'd be like, oh my God, I never put it together. Right. That makes so much sense. Good job. What's your face? What's his name? Ryan something?
Ryan Seacrest.
That's good on you.
Seacrest is 48. He's announced to take over Pat Sajak's job. It remains unsure if Vanna White will stay. Vanna White is 66. To touch those letters that light up. Let's see.
Oh, that's right. They don't even turn anymore, do they?
They don't even turn. She got older.
No, that's how we show our age.
Right.
What Vanna? Oh, when you first started Wheel of Fortune, what was Vanna White doing?
Right. Vanna has appeared on Wheel since 1982.
Jesus.
And has reportedly lawyered up in the news of Sajak's retirement. She's saying she hasn't gotten a pay raise in 18 years. She was making $3 million a year. Meanwhile, Sajak in 2016 was making $15 million a year. You know, his went up. And so her contract ends next year. She doesn't know that she'll get a raise. She doesn't even know, quite frankly, if Ryan Seacrest, who's in charge now, he's a producer, is going to keep her or not. I think you have to keep her, at least for a little bit. These who watches that show, they don't like change like that.
Does she even speak on the show? I don't know if I've ever heard her speak on the show.
In the beginning and end, they do little bits to fill time sometimes.
Yeah.
No, and I understand that it's like, hey, Pat Sajak had to keep the show going, had to come up with more banter, had to do more hosty things. And I do think that is definitely a harder job, but that doesn't mean that you don't get a raise in 18 years, especially when we try to fire you and all of our audience turned on us so much.
I remember that.
Meanwhile, every other show is like, oh, good, a fresh model. Every other show is that. So if they wanted her that bad, I think she has a good chance to win this, because it's not some woman. It's not what Pat and the girl. It's
Right.
Pat and Vanna White.
Yeah.
We never know. Do you remember The Price is Right? Do you know the names of any one of those models?
No.
Correct.
No,
Yeah.
we know Vanna White. And if you say Vanna, we know who that is too. You get a raise for that in entertainment.
Seacrest did imply that White will be remaining by saying, I can't wait to continue the tradition of spinning the wheel and working alongside the great Vanna White.
He's
so
perfect.
If he doesn't rehire her,
he's
gonna be
perfect.
an asshole. Yeah.
Could there be a more vanilla job for a more vanilla person? That is so perfect.
But remember Pat Sajak, they said for a little while behind the scenes, he's going to be the producer. And Seacrest has that job now too. I don't know what the fuck you're producing, quite frankly. I'll take a tea, and they both try to be the first one behind the scenes and be like, you have to show a tea now. But all right, we're gonna have two producers. That's gonna be exciting. All right, there you have it. Here's what you want to do in regards to our new friend Dave Stone.
Before you say that, just really quick, Nadine, who is a member on our YouTube channel, says Seacrest is a sentient mayo sandwich.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's right. He's offensively non-offensible to me, but I do understand why he'd be a good host, this vanilla fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's
Vanilla Ice and there's this vanilla fuck. Yes.
You can leave him with your kids, your wife, your dog. Everything's fine with this guy. He'll probably clean the stove. Dave Stone, he's been on the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, all this shit. He knows what's going on. Adult Swim, Squidbillies. The new special that you want to see is called Pack a Lunch. And you did a great job. Congrats, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you.
So bold.
You may.
People want to know what you're up to, what you're doing. What's the best way to follow you?
DumbDaveStone.com is my website. You can find all my tour dates there. Instagram, Twitter, all that bullshit. I'm out there. You can find me.
On your recent special, what was the weirdest thing that happened, the thing that stuck out, the thing that you were like, this is too hard, or this was great? What was the behind the scenes of putting that together?
Probably the closing bit. I talk at the very end of the special, I just talk a little bit about being a cop, and the closing bit is a true story about third day out of the academy, being out on the street with a training officer. But I located and retrieved a decapitated human head, and just the challenge of trying to make that funny and making that comedy, and furthermore making that the closer. I was very nervous about closing my special with that, and it did okay.
You knew the head. Did you know the body?
I was going to ask that.
I didn't know either part of them, but
Sure.
no, it was a college student committed suicide by laying his head across some train tracks.
Oh, god damn.
The call came in that there was a mannequin laying on some train tracks, and we get there and no mannequin, just a body minus a head. And then I spotted the head about 10 yards away, and my training officer handed me a trash bag and ordered me to go gather him up. And the rest is, it's a good time. Comedy. Haha.
You moved the body? I thought you would have to wait for someone.
No, I didn't move the body. I had retrieved the head at the very end. We left it after the detectives and everybody were done with it. They let the rookie go bag up the head and hand it over to the coroner's assistant. So,
and that's
that
your
was fun.
Closer.
Yeah, it's a funny special.
No,
everybody.
that was
Chock
his
full of
closer,
laughs.
Dave.
Yes, it was his closer.
You need a
Yeah.
different one.
Yeah, the inside joke on the scene was how many trains came by before he had the gumption to actually do it. And fun fact, I didn't mention this in the special, but zero blood, cauterized the wound, just vacuum sealed his neck. All right, good times.
That is a fun fact. That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
When I get pulled over driving,
Mm-hmm.
and I promise I will, do I act like, nice to meet you, officer? You know, maybe I did something wrong. Let's solve it. Do I cry? Do I really go like, I know I'm your bitch? What's the best way to play it?
Well,
Also,
first of all,
keep in mind he's a veteran, but also please speak to me as well.
Yeah. First of all, make sure your hands are where they can see them. I always just a good rule of thumb is just keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Okay.
And also you don't have to ask why they pulled you over. They will tell you.
They know.
Yeah. Why'd you stop me? Well, I'm gonna get to that. So, yeah.
But when sometimes they do go, do you know why I stopped you? They like fucking with you. Do I say I know, or do I act like, hey, you tell me?
Don't admit that, because if you say I was speeding or whatever, then boom, that's an admission.
Dave, can
of guilt.
we practice? Can I be the cop?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hands where I could see him, please. All right.
Hello?
License and registration.
All right, I'm gonna
Move
reach in my
slowly,
glove.
please.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach in my glove box to get my registration. You always let them know that.
All right.
Hand it over.
Okay. Do you know why I pulled you over?
I'm not sure.
Why aren't you sure? Weren't you the one driving?
You're the one who stopped me.
Are you getting fresh?
Partner.
No, I'm just telling you, I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I thought I was under the speed limit. So beyond that, I'm not sure what I may have done wrong.
All right. Do you know that your tail light is out?
I was unaware of that.
Do you know how dangerous that is?
I'm sure it's incredibly dangerous.
I should arrest you right now.
I don't think that's an arrestable offense, but I appreciate your vigor.
Oh,
step out of the vehicle.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Step out of the vehicle. Sure thing. No matter what. Yes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there are. I'm trying to think if there's a scenario where you could legally deny that, but yeah.
Now, can we do it again? But now I'm black. Ready?
Sure.
Just kidding.
you're the black cop.
actually, now you're black. Sorry.
Yeah.
I want to mention as well, next week is America's Independence Day, right? July 4th at Keith and the Girl. We call it Keith and the Girl Day. It's a day where a lot of people are out and about, meeting with friends and family. Wear your Keith and the Girl shirts, wear your Keith and the Girl leggings, stickers, etc. We have it all. And it's so fun especially when friends, when family, and I'm not exaggerating, when people, you listen. We've hooked people up relationship wise from this July 4th stuff. We've gotten a father and son to communicate again because of this July 4th idea. It's fantastic, and I love it. If you have anything Keith and the Girl related, wear it on July 4th. Tag us in the picture. We'll follow you on social media wherever you tag us. And if you need Keith and the Girl gear, go to keithandthegirl.com/gear, GEAR. That's keithandthegirl.com/gear.
Also, Bad Beef is saying, hem the role play VIP show, please. And then the next one is, quote, okay, now you're black.
That's everything. So nice to meet you, Dave. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate
Likewise.
it.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for spreading the word. Suck my dick, Craig.